Good morning to Mrs. Macpherson and all the pupils at Taynuilt School in beautiful Scotland. I have to confess, I didn't know about your village. So I Googled it and boy, oh boy, boy, it's beautiful. Beautiful village situated on the River Nant. Two beaches. Oh, tell you what, I wish I was there today, not on a rainy Monday morning in my shed. But things will soon cheer up for me because you've sent me some brilliant questions about the boy who biked the world, which I'm going to tackle now. Thank you, by the way, for reading these books. I hope it's given you some ideas for adventures of your own. So, here's a question from Archie. Do you like beans? And did you think you'd never get past the River Nile? I love beans. I really do. Baked beans on toast, one of my genuine favourite meals. Did I think I'd never get past the River Nile? Well, it's the longest river in the world. So I cycled the whole length of the River Nile. It splits into two, actually, the White Nile and the Blue Nile. And I followed the Blue Nile right up to the source, up in the mountains of Ethiopia, the Blue Nile Falls. Yes, a beautiful but very long river. Andrew says, "What type of bike did you use?" I didn't have a very fancy bike. It was a mountain bike, a fairly normal mountain bike, and all I did was I put tires on that would be better for being on the road. I put racks on it so that I could carry my bags and my camping gear, and that was about it. I wanted it to be strong and simple and not break in difficult places. Finley says, "How many miles did you cycle a day?" Well, my record was 150, and my worst was 2 miles a day through gigantic, deep snowdrifts. When I started, I was doing about 50 miles a day until I got fit, and because your bum really hurts in the early days. And by the end, I was doing 70, 80, 90 miles a day. Later on, I could quite easily do 100 miles a day. It's the great thing about riding a bike. If you do it a lot, you get good at it, and you can ride a long way. Poppy says, "Why did you decide to write a book about adventures?" Well, I love reading books. See, I've got lots of books here in my shed, and it was reading books about adventures that got me excited about doing adventures in the first place. So reading stories and adventures has always been important to me, and I trained to be a teacher, so I wanted to try and share some of my adventures and some of the things I'd learned around the world with young people around the world. And a book's a brilliant way to do that because it can go out into the world to all sorts of places, including small, beautiful villages in Scotland, as well as big cities in other places. What does sushi taste like? Well, it's very varied. Oh, look at this. Perfect. I have a prop. My morning coffee cup is a mug with all the different kinds of sushi on. Look at that. Perfect prop. Now this one, the quite kind of normal one you see quite often, even in like Tesco, is a bit of rice with a bit of salmon or tuna on top. And if you're using really fresh, really good fish, it doesn't taste that sort of stinky, gross fishiness at all. It's much milder taste than that, really. But then you can go on and get some like umi, sea urchin, which to my mind is absolutely disgusting. What else have we got? Conger eel. Here's a bit of a safe one. The cucumber roll, wrapped up in rice sheet. And I think I need to wash my mug. It's a bit disgusting for an educational aid. Sorry about that. I love sushi. It's delicious. Sadly, these days, I'm now a vegan, so I no longer eat meat or fish, which means I can only just look happily at my mug and remember when I did used to enjoy sushi. Finn Gray says, "What was your closest time to death?" There's a question for a Monday morning. I really like being alive, so I don't really want to die, and definitely don't want to die on an adventure. So I try to be really careful on adventures. And to be honest, cycling around the world didn't feel to me any more dangerous than normal life is. I was just really on a bike ride, but in lots of different places in the world. Like I hope some of you guys go on bike rides where you are. So I don't think I was ever really close to death. Sam says, "Where was the coldest/coolest place you went?" Well, interesting. Coldest and coolest. kind of mean two very different things in modern English. So the coldest place I went was Siberia, which was minus 40 degrees, much colder than being inside a freezer. And in that sense, not very cool at all, because it was horrible, hard, miserable, really, really tough challenge. Pretty awesome and epic, but really hard. So cool. I might say San Francisco in California. Life in Northern California in the sunshine is wonderful, he says on a rainy morning in his shed. Samuel, where was the highest place you went? 4,900 meters riding through the Andes in South America. Once you're up that high, there's not much air, not much oxygen. So you really struggle to breathe. You feel really out of breath. It's pretty hard going. Alex says, were you actually scared of the lion in Africa? Yes, short answer. Andrew, did you go to Canada and did you go use a road bike? P.S. We are at Colombia in the book currently. Well, I'm not going to answer that question because that's what we call a spoiler. Did I go to Canada? Da, da, da. You'll have to read the book and find out. Kaya says, what was the weirdest food you ate? Well, other than some weird raw fish, how about a barbecued guinea pig, which comes looking like this on a plate? In China, I ate dog. And, you know, we say that I say that that's weird, but it's just eating an animal. And I reckon if someone from some far off country came to Britain and ate some of the sort of deep fried turkey Twizzlers we have, or dare I say it, a deep fried Mars bar, they might think, what on earth is that? So what we think of as weird food is just really different from different countries, I guess. But to answer that question, yeah, in China I ate dog, which is dog. People often ask me what dog tastes like. It's quite hard to describe what dog tastes like. So the best way I can describe it really is it tastes pretty similar to cat. Next question from Emma. What color is your bike? Brilliant question. I'm not sure anyone has ever asked me that before. And you know what? I didn't write it in the book. That's a brilliant question. My bike was blue. But then as I went on through the trip, I used to give talks at schools and I started to let the schools paint my bike. So they paint it some crazy color and I'd cycle off, and in another country in a few months, the kids would paint my bike another crazy color. So once in Chile, a class painted my wheels gold. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I had lots of different colors. Cara, rating from 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy cycling around the world? Wow. Enjoyed. For the word, I would say about a 3 out of 10. I enjoyed it because most days were pretty hard. I was tired. It was difficult. I was sleeping in a tent, eating pretty basic food. And I would say that I much more enjoy lying on my sofa, watching a football match, eating crisps in a nice warm house. I enjoy that much more. But by the end of the trip, when I look back on it, how much did I enjoy the whole experience? 10 out of 10, the most amazing experience of my life and something I'll remember forever. Definitely. What was your favorite country and why? This is an impossible question that I've been asked 5 million times, and I reckon I've given a different answer every single time because I loved pretty much everywhere I've been and I like them for very different reasons. So today, because it is grey and rainy and summer is over, I think my favorite place might have been Northern California or the beaches of South Africa or Kyrgyzstan in the summertime, swimming in Lake Isyk-Kul. Yeah, somewhere warm and sunny and friendly and peaceful. Olivia, which were your favorite group of people? So which people were the nicest? Well, a brilliant thing about cycling around the world is that nearly everyone in the world was good, kind, friendly, welcoming. And if you compare that to the news, where it seems that everyone in the world is horrible and evil and dislikes people in other countries, this is a brilliant reason to go traveling. Because when you get to these countries that people say horrible things about in the news, when you get there, you realize they're just full of nice, normal people like we all are. So it's a brilliant thing to just realize how friendly the world is. And in terms of real friendliness, I think perhaps the Middle East might have been one of the best areas for that. Syria, which has been at war now, well, for your entire life, you guys, is a lovely, beautiful place. Sudan in North Africa is a really friendly place. So I'll pick the Middle East for just real good, friendly people. Oh, and Grace goes on to say, what was your favorite culture? Okay, I need to give a different answer to that. I'm tempted to say Japan because it's such a different and fascinating culture. But I should choose a different one. So I will choose Ethiopia because they have a really unusual culture, very different to the rest of Africa. Fantastic music. If you Google a singer called Aster Aweke, Asteraweke, you'll get a sense of the great music there. And Ethiopian food was fantastic. So yeah, that was a really interesting culture. Finn says, what's the USA like? Well, it's hard to give a short answer about a country that is as massive as a continent, but it's a really good country to think about, because I think in the UK quite often we're a bit mean about America. We say things that about their country that we don't always think is great. And yet when I cycled through it, I just found fantastic people and communities, and I just really loved the way of life there. I would genuinely really like to go and spend a year living in America, or riding around America, or even driving around America in an electric camper van. I'd love to do that. Emily, what animals did you see on your trip? Whew. Well, the great thing about going to Africa, South America, North America, and Asia is you get a real variety of animals. So in Africa, I saw the fantastic animals that you might dream of seeing there: giraffes and elephants and zebras and crocodiles. And in South America, I saw llamas and alpacas and vicuñas up in the mountains where they live. In North America, I saw grizzly bears and brown bears. What did I see in Asia? Whew. I don't really think of Asia. I'm not sure I saw. Oh, I saw a lot of camels in Asia. Very cool. Yes, it was great seeing the wildlife, and then crossing the ocean, I saw whales and dolphins as well. Sorcher asks, did you ever get lonely? Yes, yeah, getting lonely was one of the hardest parts of the trip. I was away from my family, away from my friends, and loneliness was a really big, difficult part of the adventure. So yeah, going on an adventure isn't always fun. If it was always fun, it would be called going on holiday. So yeah, the loneliness side of it was hard, but you make new friends along the way, which is great. And your friends and family are always there waiting for you when you get back home again. There are your questions. Excellent questions for a Monday morning. I should tell you, by the way, one of the reasons I decided to do this video now on Monday mornings, because right now I'm supposed to be writing my new children's book, which is called The Girl Who Rode the Ocean, about a girl called Lucy who has a brother called Tom, and she rows across the Atlantic Ocean. I'm writing that book now. I'm really excited about finishing the book, but it feels a bit like homework at the moment. I'm really struggling to actually sit at my desk and get the work done and get writing. And so I'm just going to keep talking to you guys all day so I don't have to do any work. That's not true. If you want to get a book finished, you have to sit down and write it. If you want to do your homework, you sit down and do it. If you want to cycle around the world, you have to get on your bike and go. Begin, stop faffing around and get on with it. Thank you very much for all your brilliant questions. Thank you very much for reading my book. Please, please, please realize what a beautiful place you live in for adventures. You've got rivers and oceans and hills. Ah, man, you can have some fantastic adventures out there while you're dreaming of big adventures. So get out there, get exploring, and keep reading. Thanks very much, guys. Goodbye. And your stream will stop immediately. Do you want to end? Yes, I do. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks very much.